This episode of Fully Charged is something very interesting indeed. It is all about this, an absolute icon if you're British. This is a London black cab. These have been rolling around London since 1948. In 1997, 20 years ago, they revised it and they brought this one out here. This is called the TX4. It's a diesel engine. They've never made electric ones before. It's quite an inefficient, heavy old ox. But today, things are different because there's an all-new cab and I'm going to drive it. In fact, I'm going to drive it from the centre of London all the way out to Heathrow Airport to go and pick up a man called Robert Llewellyn. But check this out. It's called the TX and it's a plug-in, range extender, London taxi. It looks like the traditional taxi, but it's actually completely new. It shares no components whatsoever with its old brother. And that's kind of a good thing because the old brother was a bit of a dog. If you want to know more about the TX, which I do, there is one person you only need to speak to, and it's this guy here, Eddie Martin. Eddie is the development manager for this entire TX taxi project. Eddie, it's really good to meet you.
Johnny, good to meet you.
It's great that it's instantly recognisable as a London cab.
Absolutely.
But it doesn't share any parts with that old thing over there.
It's a clean sheet of paper design. We've designed this new cab to be the future. It's an all-electric taxi. We've developed it around a lot of the key requirements for London. So the famous turning circle.
Yeah.
We've got to develop the car to be able to turn in within 8.5 metres. We've developed it to have 6 passengers in the back and be really comfortable for the driver.
Okay, so more people. This is great. Reminds me of the Rolls-Royce Phantom.
Yes.
Suicide back door, which the previous car didn't have. So it's binging because it's on, but can I just do I'll show the fully charged viewers what we're talking about when it comes to turning circle. Look at this.
So we've had to develop a unique suspension. So it's a twin axis steer to get the amount of steering lock you need to get round. So it's an incredible steering angle we've had to achieve.
That's amazing. What's going on under here?
So under here we've got a range extender, so a 3.5 cylinder 1.5 litre petrol engine.
Is that borrowed from another existing vehicle, or is that?
So it's a new engine, part of the Geely family. This is the first application it's released in.
Okay, so that's quite uncommon because in the past taxis have recycled well-proven engines from other places.
Yep.
But this is like a future-proof car as much.
Yes. But the key to this is really it's an electric vehicle.
Yeah.
So it's got a 31 kilowatt hour battery placed here, and that's the crux of it. So it lives under here, underneath the driver and luggage compartment.
Come and have a look. I don't know how many of you have ever been in a London taxi in this position, the driving seat. The old taxis were incredibly cramped, weren't they? The packaging was pretty bad. And most drivers you speak to, they had a slightly offset driving position, not enough knee room, not enough leg room. You know, these guys are in here for 12 hours or more sometimes.
It's their office.
But when you get into this, the first thing, I mean, I haven't adjusted the seat to me, but it's electric, which is very cool. First thing you notice is I recognise the steering wheel. Geely, the company that owned
The London Electric Vehicle Company.
Yeah. Now they own Volvo. They bought Volvo in 2010.
Yes.
They've just bought a majority stake in Lotus.
They've just bought Lotus. Yes.
Yeah. This company, or the bronze manganese black cab company, correct me if I'm wrong, was going to go into liquidation in 2013.
Yeah. So Geely have come on board and put a big investment in to develop an all-new car, all-new factory out at in Coventry to develop this and sell to the world.
In here, you've got a huge touchscreen, which I'm going to play with when we start driving. All digital dashboard binnacle. There's no analog gauges here at all, is there?
No.
Steering wheel, which I definitely recognise from a Volvo, but you're probably not allowed to say that. But I think it is. And this is all good because Volvo are known for making really nice, luxurious, ergonomic automobiles. So I don't know why I said automobiles, because I'm British. Let's just call them cars. Of course it's electric, so you've got a little shifter here, you've got a start-stop button, which again I recognise from a Volvo. Keyless entry, neat little keyless, lock and unlock here, just neat. Cup holder on like an adjustable rail, Eddie.
Yeah, so it's an adjustable rail for different accessories. When we sell around the world, all different markets need to be catered for.
In the back here, this is the business end. This is exciting because what we're sitting in is not a steel car, is it?
No. So it's an aluminium car bonded together. So we bond the aluminium panels together, hot cure them in an oven, and then glue on or bond on composite panels.
The last car is based on a design from 58 pretty much.
It's a much older design that's evolved over time.
Yeah, because that is like a, you know, a 50s British separate body chassis.
Yeah, it's a body on frame, whereas this is a unibody, like all the modern production cars are like.
What's going on under the floor of the passengers?
So you've got the battery in the front, but all the HV components that drive the car are here, and then you've got an electric drive motor at the back. So it's a 120 kilowatt peak output electric motor in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the front, the range extender is a 60 kilowatt petrol range extender.
Okay, so 1.5 3-cylinder.
Yep.
It never drives the wheels.
Yep.
It only charges the battery packs. They live under the driver's seat. Under here is the controller and the other high voltage
All the other high voltage governors is under there.
Single motor. Back here, rear wheel drive,
Yep, rear wheel drive.
like all London cabs. And you'll come to this in a minute when we set off into the London chaos, but it's a really airy, big space.
Absolutely, panoramic roof, great feature.
Yep.
Whether you're driving past Big Ben, the Arc de Triomphe, the Sydney Harbour Bridge, amazing view for the passengers.
Is this a bigger car than the TX4?
Yeah, so it's a bit longer, a little bit wider in the body, same overall width though, and a little bit taller, just to give that extra room.
It's great. And like you say, 6 seats, so 3 back here where I am, and you've got 3 here. 1,
3 drop-down seats here.
all with headrests. Okay, so that swivels out. Of course, this is the recess for the driver. The driver lives behind this anti-attack screen, or whatever you want to call it. You've got a payment system just right here, which I guess would be all your usual cards, contactless stuff.
Yep.
Loads of, I've noticed, here, USB, charge points, always good.
Yep.
Everyone's lifeline these days is a phone charger.
Absolutely. And we've really tried to design it for everybody in the community. So we've designed, there's an access ramp that lives under here, so people in wheelchairs are able to come in here and travel in the vehicle, forward facing. And we've also made it so that there's still 2 seats here that people with a disability, wheelchair users, can take 2 friends, family, carers, whoever they need to bring along with them.
I've got my paper, I've got my coffee because I'm a proper cabbie now. Put me paper up here because there's binnacles above my head, 2 of, which is quite neat. And you've got your fare up here, but listen to this, hang on. Basically the start of Jingle Bells, regardless of the season. I've already synced my phone with the Bluetooth, got DAB, got an interesting driver performance record, but we're just going to get cracking now. I have driven both previous cabs before, albeit fairly high mileage. I'm not going to lie. They weren't the most comfortable things in the world. They were probably the smelliest things in the world. I don't have the knowledge, but I do have nice touchscreen sat-nav on my tablet. So we're going to go and fetch Bobby Llewellyn. It's the coldest day in Britain this year, apparently. It's quite cold outside. We've got the heating on, got the screens being cleared, got a nice electric seat adjustment. You sit like a van actually, and vans these days are very good, so that is no bad thing. The weight of the brake pedal is really good. It's just right, because a lot of electric cars I find the brake pedal's too sensitive and too grabby. This car, you say, is slightly taller.
Yeah, it's a little bit taller than the current TX4, but I think it gives really a commanding driving position to give you good visibility in the city.
And we've got regen braking that we can play with.
3 levels of regen braking, so you got 0, which is nothing, you'll just glide along.
Yeah.
1, which is a medium setting, and then 2, which is the more aggressive one, which is like a gentle brake.
I'm getting enviously eyed up by other black cab drivers. And you were saying with a 50 kilowatt charger.
Yeah, so with the 50 kilowatt charger, you can get an 80% boost to your battery in about 25 minutes.
That's quite impressive.
Yeah, so it's sort of designed that when the cabbie's taking a break for lunch, put it on charge, give a good boost, and then you can run it all afternoon.
The thing is, the ability to drive up to 80 miles EV only is actually a massive range in an urban area like London. Doing this, was it you that said to me the average speed of central London traffic is 8 to 10 miles an hour?
8 to 10 miles an hour in the centre of London.
Well, my wife walks quicker than that, so that's very slow indeed. 80 miles doing that level of stop-start is huge. You could potentially drive around all day. We're doing a slightly longer journey, in this instance, but that's all part of the fun. You can hold the battery, can't you? So you can fully charge the battery and hold it.
Yeah, so if you live in the outer suburbs and you want to drive into the day into a zero emissions centre of the city, you can put it in save mode. It'll run the range extender, maintain your level of charge, and then you can switch it to electric.
Here I am in the bus lane, driving legally in the bus lane, which is a first for me. But I have to say, the quietness that I really appreciate in electric cars works great here, because usually you're engaged in a conversation, either the taxi driver to the customer, or you're on your phone doing some business call, or you just want to appreciate a bit of Magic FM. I was reading the press release about it, and I know there's been a huge focus on making this car safer and more luxurious. The luxury is clear. The safety, well, you can explain that to me perhaps.
Yeah, so we've really tried to make this car to the highest modern European standards, so looking at full frontal barrier, offset barrier, side barriers, so that the passengers and driver are the safest they could possibly be. But not only passive safety, or what we call passive safety, so if you're having an accident, but active safety we've really tried to work on as well.
Yeah.
So having emergency autonomous braking and stability control as standard across the range should hopefully prevent you having the accident in the first place.
The idea also behind this car is critical, that the owner drivers of these, they're investing in them. This is a tool for a job. This is your livelihood. So if you can make the running costs cheaper and cheaper and the car more and more reliable, it's a no-brainer, isn't it?
Absolutely.
What are the running costs of this compared to the outgoing?
So it's about £100 a week save in terms of running costs over the existing TX4.
Really?
And when you look at the lease options in terms of buying it, the current TX4 is £167 a week. This one is £177 a week. So it's only £10 a week more, but look at the savings you can have. I
was talking to one of the sort of veteran cab drivers who's been experimenting and testing this for the last 7 weeks. The first thing he said to me was, he said, I wasn't a believer at first, but after spending a few days with it, he said, my existing cab, his TX4, he said, I cannot get more than about 21 miles to the gallon, however I drive it. He said this, even when the generator's running and you've got all of the energy sapping appliances on, I'm still getting over 50 mpg with that. And of course, when you're not running the Jenny, it's pure electric, which comes down to how much you're paying for your electricity. But I mean, in itself, when you're sitting in traffic like this, what I can't believe is that the old cab didn't have start-stop ignition. It's a no-brainer, isn't it? Because there's a cab sitting right next to me, and it's running, and we're parked, and the cab in front is sitting there, and it's running, and it's parked, and all you're doing is burning diesel the whole time, and diesel is profit. Oh, good lad, good lad. Got let out by a fellow cabbie, which is always nice. And when you come to London, you expect to see icons, and if you're a tourist, you expect to see these iconic parts of street furniture, and that is a double-decker bus and a black cab. The double-decker bus has been a hybrid now for several years, and it's a fantastic reinvention of a classic line. This, I hope, will do the same. You look at it, you instantly recognise it as a black cab, which is a London icon, but finally it's got the propulsion that it always really needed. Am I right in thinking that production's going to be ramped up to be able to make 20,000 of these a year?
So the total capacity there plans 20,000, and we'll ramp up to as many as we can sell. But yep, big factory, big investment in Coventry, UK manufacturing.
Oh, where is he? Taxi's here. Ah! Oh!
Here he is. Here he is.
Oh my God! It's amazing! Thanks, Johnny.
Hello, son.
Hello.
You all right? You know, lovely
Fabulous.
flights.
Where am I going to? Oh, the Ritz-Carlton.
I swear I've seen you before. What is it? Midsummer Murders?
Yeah.
What is it? It's great, isn't it?
It's really nice. Wow, it's really comfy.
This is a real car review involving proper journeys.
Yeah.
Useful, practical journeys. Well, sir, I'll take you wherever you want to go in the new cab.
This is so... that is so bizarre that it isn't going... You know, like the old diesel ones are such rattlers.
I was going to say, how many hundreds of journeys have you done in the diesel one?
Well, a few, I have to admit.
Yeah, and they're not brilliant, are they?
I mean, they're very... Because I love cabbies and they're very funny. And then when like you were saying, where have I seen you? You're that bloke.
Have you? How many times have you
But
had
the
that?
most common one I get is, I had Craig Charles in the back of here yesterday. He was asleep. Do you know how far you've driven on? Because presumably it was charged up when you got it.
It was charged up. I've got about 50 miles of EV only left.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course,
And have you been tootling around London today?
yeah, I've been stuck in
Traffic all over the place.
Yeah, I've been averaging 8 miles an hour, as is the
Yeah.
usual way. So, but I've been properly testing it in its home environment.
Right. Yeah. This is what it's going to be used. Yeah.
Ton of start-stop
Yeah.
going on. However, really quite relaxing and comfortable, despite the fact that it's a joyless place to drive usually.
Yeah.
I have to say, you've got this angled tablet touchscreen shizzle,
Right.
and it's really, really intuitive. I like it. Which has got, you know, DAB, phone connectivity, really crisp reversing camera. It's got lane departure assist. It's got
Wow.
autonomous emergency braking. Loads of tech which you get in quite a high end.
Yeah. Saloon cars.
Yeah, so they've gone to town on it to try and make it future-proof. The total range is about 400 miles.
With it, like with a full battery, full tank of gas.
Yeah, 80 of those miles EV only.
Right.
The rest range extender. So it's a generator at the
Right.
front. Doesn't connect to the wheels. I mean, it can't match your Tesla for performance, Bob.
No, but you don't want that in a taxi. That's not
No.
what it's about, is it? But that was pretty. That was very swift.
Yeah,
Look
look.
at that. Very smooth.
Yeah. We can chip on. For me, crucially, you've got 3 stages of regen braking that you can play with.
Right. Oh, that's good. So it's got adaptive regen. You can,
Yeah,
increase it.
I've got it in the most aggressive now. So if I let off the throttle now, that's as aggressive as it gets.
Wow, and that's not. There's no. You didn't touch the brakes then. That was
No,
just slowing down.
no, that's just letting off the throttle.
Yeah.
So the idea is that the service intervals of this thing are 25,000 miles,
Right.
and your brake pads, which normally last about 8,000 miles in a normal cab, are probably going to last a lot longer because
Oh,
of
they will do,
regen.
yeah.
Yeah.
If they drive, once people get used to driving it, because it takes them, because they will be jamming the brakes on all the time. won't
Yeah,
they?
all the time. He's going to be all over it. Get proper. I don't get angry with me. What are you doing? But there's others out there that get a little bit hot behind the wheel, and you know sometimes they need a little slap. I think I've reached your
That is
destination. son.
perfect. Brilliant. How much is that then, Chief?
To you,
Yeah.
80 quid.
80 quid. I can give you $20.
$20 sounds good to
There
me,
you go.
as long as I get a squiggle for the boy.
There's a 20. Keep the change, Chief. God bless you.
Love you long
Fantastic.
time.
See you soon. Oh,
This is just all fool's play.
I'll go that way. Where am I? Jet lagged, don't I? Bloody hell.
Now that Robert Llewellyn, he's a charming man. Always happy, never seems upset.